Okay, so the question was, as a group, they must make 12 songs between the two of them, okay? How many cars can they make if they're making 12 songs? So the first thing you should think is, who has comparative advantage in what? Okay. Obviously, based on everything we just said, it doesn't make sense for them to each make 6. Okay. That doesn't make sense, because if Marshall makes 6 songs, he's losing out on 42 cars. Okay, that's a high opportunity cost. And if Kendrick makes 6 songs, he's losing out only on 24 cars. Okay. So Kendrick can afford to take some of the cars away from some of the songs away from Marshall, and they can then produce more cars overall. Okay, so you don't want to think about it as splitting the work evenly. That is not efficient. Okay, and I hope that you're not putting these on tests. I hope that when you see the homework, you see the tests, you're not going to do 6 and 6. Okay, I'd rather you have the wrong opportunity costs and switch them than do that. But try to get the right opportunity cost so that you get the right answer. Okay, so we established that Kendrick 1 has lower opportunity cost for songs. How do we do that? When Kendrick makes a song, he gives up 4 cars. When Marshall makes a song, he gives up 7 cars. Okay, 4 is less than 7, so Kendrick has a lower opportunity cost for songs. And we said that having the lower opportunity cost of a particular good means that you have comparative advantage in that good, right? So the person with comparative advantage in a particular good should max out that good if they need to reach that quota. They should spend most of their time making that good, basically. Okay? So Marshall has comparative advantage in cars. So both people can't have comparative advantage in both things. One person can't have a comparative advantage in 2 things, right? It has to be the case that if Kendrick has comparative advantage in cars or songs, then Marshall must have comparative advantage in cars. The reason being that these are reciprocals, right? So if you take if x is greater than y, then 1 divided by x must be lower than 1 divided by y. Now, I'm not going to show that mathematically, but it's a truth. 1/5 is less than 1/4 because 5 is greater than 4. Okay, so one person's going to have comparative advantage in cars, one person's going to have comparative advantage in songs, and we showed that it's Kendrick who has comparative advantage in songs because his opportunity cost of a song is 4 cars, which is lower than Marshall's opportunity cost of a song of 7 cars. 4 is less than 7. Kendrick has comparative advantage in songs, so Kendrick will produce the songs. Okay, but we need to make 12 songs as a group, right? Kendrick only has 7 days, so Kendrick will make up to 7 songs, but after that, Marshall's going to need to make some songs. Okay. All right, so first of all, we say that Kendrick has lower OC comparative advantage, lower OC in songs, so he has comparative advantage in songs. Okay, so that's the first bullet point. Next up, we can say that Kendrick should make as many songs as possible. Okay, because he has the comparative advantage. Because comparative advantage in songs. Okay. They need to make 12 songs. Need 12 songs. Kendrick makes 7 songs. One song per day for 7 with 7 days max. Kendrick can therefore make 1 song per day times 7 days equals 7 songs max. Okay, so if Kendrick spends all of his time making songs, he can make 7 songs. What does that leave? That leaves 5 songs left over. Okay, need 12 songs total. 7 Kendrick made. Marshall must then make the rest. Okay. Marshall must make the rest. Okay. So 12, what's the rest? 12 minus 7 equals 5 songs left for Marshall. Okay. So Marshall has 5 songs left. Okay. We want to know how many days will that take Marshall to make? Okay. So if he makes 5 songs equals 1 song per day times X number of days. What is X? X is going to be 5. So Marshall must spend 5 days making songs. Okay. And I know this is very laid out, but I'd rather be more detailed, and then you guys can find the shortcuts later. Marshall then has 7 minus 5 days to make cars, 2 days on cars. Okay. Marshall, so he has 2 days left to make cars. He makes 7 cars per day times 2 days equals 14 cars. So if they need 12 songs, they can make up to 14 cars. Okay. Kendrick will be making Kendrick will spend all of his time making songs. Marshall will spend 5 days making songs, and then Marshall will spend the rest of the time making cars. So Marshall Marshall will make all of the cars. Kendrick won't make all of the songs, but Kendrick will spend all of his time making his comparative advantage good. Marshall will be the only person making his comparative advantage good, but he will also have to help chip in, and that is efficient production. If you wanted to compare it, we can look at what would happen if they did it the other way around, or what if they split it half and half, right? So if they split it half and half, okay, where they each make 6 songs, right? So if they each make 6 songs, Marshall can have 1 day left over for cars, and Kendrick will have 1 day left over for songs. So they'll make 7 plus 4 cars, 11 cars total. So if they both make 12 songs as a group, they can make 11 cars if they split it half and half. Obviously, 12 songs, 11 cars is worse than 12 songs, 14 cars. So, throw that logic out of splitting it half and half. I've seen that too many times. All right, and what if you messed up the comparative advantage? How can you go about checking that? Well, you can then do the opposite. We can look at it. What if Marshall made all the songs and Kendrick Marshall made his max number of songs, and then Kendrick chipped in on the rest of the songs, and Kendrick made all the cars. Okay, so let's do this the fast version. I don't want to lay out all the steps. All right. So if we thought that Kendrick had comparative advantage in cars, right, then Kendrick should be the only one making cars. Okay. Okay, so if Marshall, we thought, had comparative advantage in songs, we should assign him the songs first. So Marshall starts with songs. I'm going to label this. I'm going to do it over here. I'm going to label this wrong, example, comparative advantage, misassigned, pretend, Marshall. Like this is if you got it wrong up to here. What if you got it wrong? Pretend Marshall. Pretend you thought Marshall had comparative advantage in songs, and K dot had in CA in cars. Okay. You'd assign Marshall songs first, so Marshall would make his max songs, which is 7, because he makes 1 song a day, he's got 7 days. Okay. K dot would have 5 days, have to make 5 songs. K dot makes 1 song per day for 5 days, so he would have 2 days left for cars. So K dot, he makes 4 cars per day times 2 days equals 8 cars. So if they made 12 songs with misaligned comparative advantage, they can make 8 cars. Okay, 8 cars, 12 songs is worse than 14 cars, 12 songs. So this is also wrong. And that's a way you can check if you have the wrong comparative advantage. Just do it. Just do the assignment and see, like, do it both ways, see who's producing more. Okay. If it comes out that one way has more of one good and the same of the other, then that must be the right pattern of comparative advantage. Okay.